Johnny, introduce yourself to the audience. Tell everybody what you're all about and what you're doing.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name's Johnny, Johnny Velarde. I'm from Southern California, specifically Ventura County, born and raised. After graduating high school, I joined the Marine Corps. I did security forces, and in boot camp, I got selected to do the presidential security detail. So I went to DC for a year. I went to Camp David for 2.5 years. I finished my enlistment at the White House under the Trump administration in 2018.
Whoa.
Had a great time. We can get more into that, but
Yeah, I want to know the details.
yeah. And then after that, I went back home with my girlfriend, who is now my wife. We lived in California for a couple of years. Went to Pepperdine University, graduated, started a business, moved to Florida during COVID. Bought a house and had 3 kids. I'm 29 and just operating a company in 2 different states and being a dad and a husband. Can't complain. Life's
Busy
good.
dude. And you went to Pepperdine. Jesus, man. God, you
Yeah,
just
go
made me
Waves.
feel like Pepperdine is no joke.
Yeah, it's a nice school for sure.
Yeah, so is its tuition. So what are you working on? What are the 2 businesses that you got in 2 different states?
So our business is valet parking and shuttles, and we also do like parking lot management. So anything car related, vehicle related, we could tackle. And then we do a lot of shuttle services for like private events, weddings, corporate events. It's really big in SoCal because parking is difficult and the terrain is difficult. So if you're having a 300-person wedding in Malibu, like parking is not good. So we'll
Right.
send like 5 or 6 Sprinter vans and just shuttle people back and forth.
So I'm actually curious about the parking lot business. That's it's an interesting model. Is it a high cash flow model, or is it a high like a long-term hold, high valuation model?
The parking lot stuff is there's like two in my mind there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either have like a long-term lease with the landlord and basically like either you pay them rent and then you keep everything, or you can do like a profit share thing. Both are good. It just depends on the situation.
Mm.
But it is, yeah, a lot of cash flow. Like one of our lots here generated like 215K last year. And our rent was like 30K. So
Oh my God.
yeah,
So you're
that's
not actually acquiring the properties, you're just doing like a lease back situation.
that's what we've been doing, and I'm actively putting in LOIs to buy like a vacant lot or something, tear it down, make it look pretty, and park cars there. It's not like it's a very niche industry. Most people don't see
Sure.
that. Most people don't see that vision, but I do in the
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
busy areas.
yeah, look, I'm from Chicago, so trying to get parking in Chicago, it's tough. And those parking lots are crazy expensive, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like if you buy it in a really good area, you could have it be a parking lot for 3, 5, 10 years, and then you still have that zoning. So like if you wanted to put multifamily on it or a hotel or a restaurant, like you always have that option, and it's easy
Mm,
because it's a parking lot. Like there's nothing that you have to. It's not like this high tech thing where you got to go in and
sure.
do everything.
What kind of returns do you typically see with the parking lots? Like if you were to go out and acquire, right? What kind of like IRR or cash on cash do you think you could get with those kind of things?
I was just running numbers, like rough numbers, on a lot that I'm interested here in St. Augustine, and it was like 25% cash on cash. Like,
Wow.
yeah, that that's like once it's stabilized. So like you got to buy
Mhm.
it, put maybe 50, 100K into it for like a nice sign and like all the gravel and stuff, and takes a little money up front to get it running. But like once it's stabilized, yeah, they're good. They're cash
And
cows.
what's the typical like acquisition price that you're looking at?
In this little city, St. Augustine. Uh, I don't really know the exact number. I just kind of like all the lots down here are about. It depends on the size, but like the ones I'm looking at are like 1.5 to 2.5, and then it just depends on the size and where they're at. You really want it to be like in a good location, obviously.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's number one rule of real estate, right? Location, location, location. So, how did you? Well, let's rewind because we can get into that. So, you joined the military and the Marines. How did you go? How did you even get into the security detail?
Yeah, that's a good question. When I was in boot camp, they had when I was in boot camp, they just had a random screening. Like I didn't know they were gonna be there. They just kind of showed up and they were like, I don't know. They kind of just like picked. They chose like they would pick you based on your MOS, like your occupational specialty, and they would just check you out, check your background, interview you, and then like you had to pass like 5 or 6 different stages, and then out of like 300 something people, there was like 4 of us left, and like out of those 4, like only 2 of us got selected, and I was one of them, so it was cool. Yeah, I mean, and then I went to DC to do security at Marine Barracks Washington 8th and I. It's the oldest post in the Marine Corps, and then I got selected to go to Camp David, which is the presidential retreat. I was there for 2.5 years. Really cool. It's up in the mountains in Maryland. And then as my time was expiring there, I had the option to go to the fleet, which a lot of people did. But then I also had the option to go to the White House. And I was like, fuck, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like I was in a really committed relationship with my now wife in Maryland. Like I didn't want to really change I was doing online school. Like I didn't really want to just drop everything and go
Right.
to the Fleet Marine Force when I only had like 18 months left. So I just stayed in DC, and the White House was a cool spot. So yeah, I did that. I got to go to Mar-a-Lago with Trump. And then I got to go to Hawaii when he did his Asia tour. I went to Hawaii for a couple of days, and then I was in Da Nang, Vietnam for 2 weeks as well.
Okay, so I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. Um, Camp David, the retreat. I don't even think Trump didn't really spend a lot of time at Camp David, right? Because usually when he would want to go away, he'd go to Mar-a-Lago, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And there's some things like I can't talk about, but yeah,
Sure.
like the overlying stuff. Yeah.
No.
Trump's not a very woodsy guy. He's more of like a city
resort.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were at the White House, were you like one of the Marines that was uniformed, stationed at the door that you would see outside?
Yeah.
And so how long would you have to stand there? Because those guys are standing like to attention for hours, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. You do shifts. So like you'll do half-hour shifts.
Okay.
And the only times you move, you work with Secret Service, and like if someone's coming to the door, like they'll let you know, and then you'll open it and close it. But yeah, like if I've stood for like an hour straight, like can't move, you literally have all those cameras watching you. And
Right.
yeah, I remember one time there was it snow? Yeah, like it was so windy and snowy that the Christmas tree fell over like next to me, and I didn't move. But I wanted to move. I was like, oh shit.
So were you like, was like one of your stations like the door outside the Oval Office, or was it more like internal?
It's in the the West Wing of the Oval Office. Yeah, so like whenever the president's in the West Wing, there's usually Marines outside.
Now, what's the difference between the Marines and the Secret Service guarding? How is the job description different? What are you doing different than what Secret Service does?
The Marines at the White House, the ones that like the job that I did, we didn't do security. It was like a ceremonial position.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Secret Service does the security.
And so if Trump went, not even Trump, but if the president goes to say Mar-a-Lago, then you're basically, it's still the same position. It's standing attention at wherever they need you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like when I went to Mar-a-Lago, Trump was hosting the Prime Minister of Japan and his wife, I believe.
Wow.
So like I would just like they do like photo ops. So like whenever they roll up in their limousine, like we'll open the doors, salute the prime minister of Japan and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, I'm really glad I got to do that because you see a lot of cool people.
Yeah. Did you get to rub elbows with any cool people, or since you're there just at attention, you don't really get to interact? How's that work?
Yeah, more of just like small talk, like hey, how you doing? Shake hands and kind of carry on about you because you don't want to get like it's not meant
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
interview people and be like a
Yeah.
you want to. I wanted to. Like I saw Sylvester Stallone. Like a lot of
Oh,
cool
wow.
guys were there. Yeah.
It's not
So
like you just whip out your camera and take a selfie while you're in uniform.
nah. Yeah. You can't have your phone out. So.
That's awesome. What a great experience at such a young age, too.
Yeah. I was like when I. Yeah. I was about 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of responsibility for sure. Camp David was security. We did the Marines protect Camp David exclusively,
Right.
but
Right.
the White House is Secret Services deal.
And that's not something that you wanted to continue because it was like, what, 4 years is what you signed up for? You didn't want to
Tip,
extend?
Typically, an enlistment's 4 years. Mine was 5 years because you have to do like an extra year of like schooling and training and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did 5 years. I didn't want to continue. I wanted to get out and own a business and go to school, use the GI Bill to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
When I had like recently gotten out, there was probably about a month or two where I was considering becoming an officer, like doing that thing, going back in as an officer, but just didn't want to do it. And yeah,
So when you're in the Marines, you were doing online schooling, which I think is it typically through Boston University? Is that what the program is through?
I used AMU, American Military University.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just
And
get like
so, sorry, go ahead.
you get like tuition assistance from the government to do
Sure.
it. So I knocked out like 40 credits while I was in at my own pace, and it was like a nice kickstart for when I got out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So by the time you got out, you had close to an associate's, right?
Pretty much, yeah, close to it, yeah.
And what made you choose Pepperdine once you got out?
Was the closest school to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I could have gone to like Channel Islands, like Cal State University Channel Islands, which is where my brother went. That was like 5 minutes from my house. But Pepperdine, I mean, Pepperdine's Pepperdine, and
Sure.
if I could go there for free, then why the hell not? So
That was going to be my next question. Does the GI Bill cover an elite tuition like that?
it covers. So Pepperdine is what they call a yellow ribbon school. So I was able to use my GI Bill, and it covered like up to X amount, and then because they were yellow ribbon, they covered the difference. So I
Gotcha.
literally paid nothing for school. All the books were covered. I actually got paid to go to school because that when you use the GI Bill, you get like a monthly housing allowance. So yeah, I got that. I lived at home at my dad's, and then went to Pepperdine. It was very like, and everything I have is because of the military. Like I met my wife when I was stationed there. I went to school because of that. I bought my first home because of the VA loan. So everything I have, I owe to the Marine Corps. Very blessed to have done what I did.
Yeah. Thank you for your service. That's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
So where was your girl at while you were at Pepperdine?
She was in California too. She worked. She
Okay.
actually worked for my dad. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. And what did you study at Pepperdine?
business
Okay.
admin.
Very good. And you just got
Yeah,
an undergrad or did you get a master's too?
just undergrad. Yeah, just undergrad, and then I was once I finished that shit, I was excited to be done. School was. I was just like. I mean, I was older too. I was like 20 by the time I finished school. I was probably 25. So I was just ready to start life. I was a little older than most people there.
Yeah, you're it's not like you're the 18, 19-year-old right out of high school starting college and being able to party and stuff. It's a different mindset at 25, especially out of the military with the role that you had.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I still partied, but I got that done, way before Pepperdine.
Yeah. Um, and so you graduate, you're in Florida, and you decide to leave. How come you guys decided to go from Florida to, or I'm sorry, from California to Florida?
Yeah, we had left my dad's house to get our own place, like our own apartment, back in like 2020, basically right before COVID started,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a year before. And it was just like it was a good location, but it was just super expensive. Like we were paying $3,100 a month for a little townhome. It was like a 3-2, no upgrades, decent location, but we're just like, fuck, dude, like this is so expensive. Like, plus we had family in St. Augustine, Florida, so we went out one summer in July to check it out. Hung out on the boat. This was during COVID, so like while California was all masked up and like
Mm-hmm.
closed,
Mm-hmm.
we went to Florida, and everybody was free, like no masks on the boat, drinking beers, like what the like what? And real estate was like half the price. Interest
Yep.
rates were still good, so like we were looking at new construction homes, and it was like you could buy a freaking four bed, four bath for like 370, and your mortgage was like $1,700 a month.
That's
So
crazy.
this was 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Sure.
So,
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah,
That's crazy.
that's why we moved. Cost of living.
Yeah. So you've been in both places, California and Florida. Outside of cost of living, where do you prefer?
Uh, I mean, I love California. Like, I love the weather. I love the the options you have, like restaurants, gyms. There's so much shit to do. I love Florida because I have family here, and we have a good base here. It's much slower paced. Um, but I love St. Augustine because it's given me a lot of stuff to be thankful for, business
Mm-hmm.
opportunities and friends. But I also love California because it's such a booming economy and it's a beautiful state. It's just some of the politicians and people that are there insane.
Isn't that crazy to think to even say that? Like California is a booming economy, but their laws are just batshit crazy.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
how is that a booming economy when you've got that craziness going on over there?
Beats me. I mean, it's like it's a perfect GPS coordinate, like the whole state. It's like it's
Mm.
perfect climate. You can go to the snow, you can go to the beach, you can go to the desert. It's got everything. Like it's got wine country, it's got farmland, it's got everything. Like
Right.
it's just the mindset of some of the people that run the state mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe that's going to change. I don't know. I don't know if you saw that interview that Gavin did recently with Charlie Kirk.
I didn't
Uh,
see it, but I heard his kid wanted his autograph.
oh yeah,
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's accurate.
uh, yeah. He seems to. It seems that Gavin's kind of changing his tune on a lot of the policies that he was once promoting. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. At the end of the day, it's like I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm super content with our situation because I live here, but like I get to have my business there also. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's the best of both worlds, and I can go visit whenever. My dad still lives there. I still got friends there,
Mm-hmm.
so it's all good.
So, Florida, the business is mostly the parking lots.
Yeah, I would say like 70% of our business is California and 30% Florida.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah.
And the business in California is also parking lots, or is it mostly rentals?
So the business in California is mostly valet, like for events and
Oh.
like venues and restaurants, hospitals, stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then we also do a lot of shuttle services for events.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Florida, we do all of that as well, but there's also the parking lot stuff.
Mm. So, is that what you're doing full time? Is just running the businesses, or do you have a W-2?
No, this is what we do full time. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
awesome. And what year did you start the business?
2020 March.
Yeah, so you're at the 5 year mark. That's awesome that
Yeah.
you're able to, run the business without a W-2. I think a lot of people in our circle are still have their W-2 and they're still trying to get a business off the ground, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we started March of 2020, me, my fiance, and my brother with like 10 grand or 15 grand. We each put like 5 grand into it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year we didn't, I mean, it was COVID. So like we didn't do shit. We did like 40K in revenue.
Mm.
And then this past year we did over like 3.3 million in revenue between the two states. And I live in Florida. So like I'm not producing all that. Like our team and our systems are, because we have great, excellent employees, because we're a service-based business. So
Mm.
the reason why we can do well is because our employees take care of our customers, and we provide a nice service that everyone seeks.
Is your brother kind of more boots on the ground in California helping run things?
He goes there more often than I do, mostly because he's single with no kids, and but yeah, I'm more of like the sales visionary person, and he's more of like the operations, like schedule and like working with the employees and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
How many total employees do you guys have?
between the both states, like probably 70, 80. A
Oh
lot of
yeah, you got.
a lot of them are part time though. Like we probably have in Florida, we have like maybe 12 full time, and then in California, we probably have like 10 to 15 full time, and the rest are part time.
Yeah. I mean, I always say as employees are the hard one of the hardest parts of business is managing employees.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Hundred
So what's
percent.
next? How much are you trying to grow? Where are you trying to take the business?
I'm trying to. We used to want to like be in like more states than just California and Florida, but now we're just trying to focus on those two. Like they're big ass states. Like you can just focus on those two states alone. So like we're expanding into San Diego. We're doing more stuff out there.
Mm.
Um, and I think the best way to scale like our company is to like acquire another company. So at some
Mm.
point, just make some offers and scoop up like a company that's done, like the owner's done and they don't want to do it anymore.
Sure.
That would be the easiest way, as opposed to hiring another 100 people and like getting in another market.
Yeah, for sure. Or buy a similar business in another market, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
would you buy a valet? Is that what you would be looking to buy? A valet type business?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Valet shuttles, parking lots. Yeah.
Um, on the because parking lots you don't typically see on real estate listings. Do you? How do you find leads for that kind of investment property?
Like today, for example, and yeah, you don't, like you have to know how to search. So like I was just Googling like vacant commercial lots for sale
Mm.
in Jacksonville, for example, because like next to the football stadium, because they're
Hmm.
redoing it, and they're actively redoing it now, and it'll be ready in probably 18 months. But just stuff like that, like you got to see the vision. So like if you're in a really busy area like Nashville or something, like downtown, like if you could scoop up a parking lot at a good cost, might be worth it.
Yeah,
You don't have to be like a parking expert. You just have to see the vision and have some ideas and good underwriting.
and you staff it whenever the events are going on, right?
You could, yeah, or you could just make it like totally staffless. Like if it's in a prime enough location, and you got like good ingress and egress, you could just put QR codes up, like little QR codes. People pull in, scan to pay, and then if they don't, you could send like a random. You partner with a tow truck company, and if they tow the car, you split the tow fee or whatever. You work a
Hmm.
deal out, something like that.
Are you fencing and gating these properties?
You can, yeah, if you feel like you need to, or the city makes you, like you might have to. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting model. How
hmm
the hell did you even get involved in something like that?
Yeah, good question. My dad, he's in the valet parking industry also. He's had a company for 40 years.
Oh, okay.
So the plan was to take over his company when
Mm.
and let him retire, but we had like a different outlook on business, like how to run a business. So we were just butting heads too much, and we just were like, that's fine. You do you, we'll do us. We still love each other. We are still both very busy, and it's been great.
Do you ever get together at family holidays and be like, "Well, how much you do in revenue?" Huh? And try and
Yeah,
compare and
we talk every day. So
do you?
yeah, yeah.
That's
Like
good.
he'll get the same quote request I get for a part, like, a 500-person event in Beverly Hills, and he's like, yeah, fuck this lady. I don't want to work for him. I'll overbid it so you get the job or something.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's great. It's a very lucrative business. Like, and a lot of people have worked for my dad and, quit and done their own thing, tried to do it themselves. And it's like, it's high stress. Like, if you don't have the
Yeah.
right team, if you don't have the right systems in place, like, you're going to be a slave to your valet company.
So when you say, because I'm a big proponent of systems in any business, without giving too much away, what kind of systems do you guys put in place in your industry type that allows you to one scale and also not have to micromanage everything?
Yeah, trying to automate like a lot of stuff, like with payroll, with time cards. Like California, you got to be really careful with like all the employee laws and stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, just time cards, payroll, insurance stuff, accounting. Like I used to do my QuickBooks shit myself. Not anymore. Like when you, it's a lot of transactions. So we have our accountant team do that, like a third party, like. And in the beginning, like you got to do a lot of stuff yourself because you don't have the
Sure.
revenue. But like as you
Yeah,
grow, if you want to keep growing, then you have to pawn that stuff out to other people.
for sure. Absolutely. Um, the the payroll side of things. What's the difference between your full time and your part time employees? What are they doing? I assume that the part time is just brought in whenever there's special events, and then the full time is key people that you try and keep on payroll for managing and running events. Is that kind of your model?
Pretty much, yeah. Like our full-time staff members, like they'll work at our ongoing locations. Like we have a location in Brentwood. It's called Wood Ranch. So we have a guy there, multiple guys there every day, and then we service a Ruth's Chris in Pasadena. That's 7 days a week. And then we have like wedding venues where we'll work there Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 8 hours a day. So
Mm,
yeah, like that's how we keep I guess the full time people. They work at the ongoing locations, and then
sure,
everyone else just kind of fills in
fills in.
as they want. And it's cool because we don't force people to work. We just post all the shifts, and then people apply for them, and you know
Yeah,
it's nice.
and they got to have a CDL, right?
For the shuttles, yeah. Not
Yeah.
for the valets. You just have to have a valid driver's license, and then we insure everyone. So if
Mm.
something happens, and we pay for it.
Um, what about doing valet or event parking at Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, I tried to get the when I was there, I got the business card for like the front desk manager
Yeah.
when I was still active duty, and I emailed them and nothing happened. I'll try again. We'll see what happens. Yeah,
How cool would that be?
it would be cool.
Full circle.
Yeah, I just don't want. Yeah, like I used to be more like cutthroat, like come in and like underbid people, but now I'm just like, I respect loyalty. So if they're happy, like they're happy, like there's no need to switch. Like
Sure.
there's there's no need to be like that.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it could be hard to find good partners in business. And when I say partners, I don't mean like actual partners. I mean vendors that are
Vendors,
literally your
yeah.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, is there a particular customer that you try and shoot for when you're trying to get business? Like, do you stay away from, certain clients because you just know they're going to be high maintenance?
Yeah, that's one thing that we implemented in 2025 was just trying to focus on like the people that are like more serious, like the previous couple of years. As I mean, when you're new, you kind of have to just take whatever you can get. But now that we're more established, and we kind of have some good street cred now, like if people, I'm not gonna send 100 emails to save this lady $50. Like if you want it, you want it. Otherwise, I can give you a company that you can call. That type of deal. Like
Yeah.
we focus on the customers that are respect us and understand what we have to offer,
Hmm.
as opposed to like the ones that are just trying to use your price to get the best price. Because
Yeah.
people, I don't know, people will reach out for valet for like their daughter's birthday or whatever, and they'll call like 10 companies to save $45. It's like it's ridiculous.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, there was something else I was just going to ask. What the hell was it now? I'm losing my brain today. It's one of those days where it's just been go 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 go.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, I know. Pepperdine.
Hmm.
What you learned at Pepperdine, do you think that it brought value to you in your business to be able to take your business where it's at?
I think some parts, yes. I think a lot of the stuff that I implemented in like in our valet company, a lot of it has to do with like our parents because they're both entrepreneurs.
Mm.
So a lot of that stuff I kind of just knew from work. Like I was working from a really young age in the parking lots, parking cars. Like so I knew what work ethic was, and I knew like the general idea behind sales and stuff like that. School, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have gone to school had I not had the GI Bill. Like I would have never taken out debt to go to Pepperdine. Most of the shit I learned is on podcasts and YouTube and the Marine Corps and books. So,
Yep. Yep.
so do I think it's good? For some people, yes, but it's not like a mandatory thing to be a successful business owner by any means. Like if you want to be good, if you want to run a business, like you just have to know how to sell and
Yep.
have some grit.
Yep. Absolutely. That's what I say all the time.
Hmm. But I had a great time. Like I don't regret it at all. I mean, it was free, so I don't know. Had I had to pay 200K, I might have a different opinion. But yeah, I mean, there's some professions like you have to have a degree. But like for me, I just wanted to be a business owner. So like I didn't need that. It was a luxury that I could do. So that's why I did it.
So what made you even go into the military then? If you basically had the opportunity to just maybe stay working for your dad and eventually take over.
Yeah, that's a good question. I just wanted to challenge myself. Like, I didn't want to be one of those people that was like, someone looked at you and was like, yeah, well, your fucking dad gave that shit to you. It's like, well, not really. Nah, I earned it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to travel. Um, yeah, I went into the recruiter's office and, they kind of, you sure the Marine Corps is for you? It's like, okay, motherfucker. Yeah, it is. So where do I sign?
uh, did you know, or were you dating your wife before you got into the military?
No, I met her when I was at Camp David. When I was stationed at Camp David, we met at like a downtown bar.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, I mean, so you were in Camp David in what year? Were you in Camp David?
2015 to like 2017, something like that. End of 2016.
Damn. So met, married, opened multiple businesses, moved 2 or 3 times, 3 kids in less than 10 years.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that's a lot. That's a lot in less than 10 years.
It
But I
is.
guess a lot of
Yeah.
people do it.
Yeah, it is. I think I moved a lot when I was younger. Like that's just how like my brother and I were brought up. We came
Hmm.
from entrepreneur family. My parents split when I was young, So we were just always kind of fending for ourselves. Like we had very little supervision. Don't get me wrong, like we got in trouble and did shit we weren't supposed to, but you know, we were pretty good for the most part.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of taught us to make the best of what you got, and you know, I'm never like I'm always like looking to grow and like do better and expand. So that
Hmm.
sometimes that's can be a little detrimental, but I'm getting better at like being happy like what I've done so far and
Mm.
focusing on like now, but still having like a good um, drive for success in the future.
I think that's very typical of entrepreneurs. It's almost like it's ingrained in you that most, at least this is for me too. It's like you're never happy, right? You
Mm-hmm.
always want to go to the next step or want more, more, more.
Mm-hmm.
That's which is it does make it hard to actually like live in the moment when you're constantly trying to either go to the next level or putting fires out or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of the military helped with management and running the business?
I do, yeah. I think the military teaches you a lot about, especially the Marine Corps. Like the Marine Corps is like the hardest branch to be in. Like it's the smallest. Like there's just so much shit that happens. Like that you like unless you've been in the Marine Corps specifically, like you wouldn't understand. But
Mm-hmm.
just being able to adapt and overcome. And I remember one time when I was like in infantry school, like we were finishing up the week, and they were like, you know, if you guys do this, like you guys will be able to get to have a 150-mile like radius like liberty for the weekend. So that means like you could go wherever you want with, as long as it's within like 150 miles. So we did everything we are supposed to do, and then like at 5 p.m. when we're about to get like released, like to go do whatever we want till Sunday night, they come in and say, "Nah, fuck it, no one's leaving." so like, I had made all these plans. Like my girlfriend at the time, we had all this stuff lined up, and then like I hadn't seen her in 2 months, and now I just have to text her and say, "Yeah, you know, sorry, can't. I'm not coming home."
Oh my gosh.
So like stuff like that, it's just like fires that happen. You learn to deal with it, and yeah,
Do they do that just to fuck with you, or is there a reason behind it? Like there's
could be.
something legitimately happened.
It could be both. Like everything could have been good, and then like one guy decided to, smoke a cigarette where he wasn't supposed to, or something. Like,
Mm,
fucks it up for the 90 people. So stuff, yeah, stuff like that.
that's a whole different world, man.
Yeah, and it can be really. It just teaches you to like it's defeating, and it's like all this weight is put on you. Like that's just one example. Like there's a lot of stuff that happens, but you just got to learn to deal with it and
Hmm.
figure it out.
Um, did you find it was hard to adapt back to civilian life after the military, or do you think
Not re-
college helped with that a little bit?
I don't think for me it wasn't that difficult. Yeah, I don't think it was that difficult. I think in like my first year, like when I was in the biggest thing I noticed was just people's like sense of urgency was just so like not there. Like people
Mm,
like showing up to like if class started at 9, kids would be walking in at like 9:04 with their fucking Starbucks, like being obnoxious, like loud.
hmm.
Like I would roll in at 8:45, like 15 minutes early, talk to the teacher, make small talk, and that shit matters. Like if you're on
Oh yeah.
the edge of like getting a passing grade or not, like and that was me. Like I didn't have good grades, and because I was just like school wasn't my thing. But like I would go to office hours, and I was always early to class. I was always raising my hand to ask questions. Like just like yeah, you got to get the somewhat of the grades, but it's also like relationship based too.
Oh yeah. All about building rapport.
Mm-hmm.
That's like sales 101, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm. It's I always said like so I'm part of this roundtable of other gym owners across the U.S. and my one friend that's on the round table with me was in the Air Force. Used to fly F-16s and stuff like that. If I was going to go in the military, that would probably be the only branch that I would get into, because I would love to be able to fly jets like that,
Mhm.
especially like the F-22s. Those things are badass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure the Marine Corps has like you have to be an officer, but I'm pretty sure like the Navy has fighter jets, but the only ones
Mm-hmm.
that fly those are like the Marine officers. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, because Marines is actually a unit of the Navy.
Yeah, it's like it's a department of the Navy. Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. And I think, yeah, I think that's what he said, that even if you wanted to fly the jets, you had to be an officer first.
Hmm.
So you got to get your undergrad and then go through flight school and all of that stuff. And he spent, I think he did, I know it was at least 20 years. I don't know if it was more than 20, but at least 20 years. And he's actually down in Florida too. He's in, um,
Pensacola,
no, by Pensacola. What's the, Destin?
Destin. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's over by Destin, but he's by the base there where he sees these fighter jets take off all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's yeah, super cool. The fighter jets, those things are fast as shit,
Hmm.
dropping big bombs.
I know, and I've been reading that uh, I think it's called the fifth gen fighter jets are kind of starting to debut, which are drone based. And I just read that China developed one that does Mach 16.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
So they're humanless, right? You control them with a like a remote, basically.
Yeah, it's all basically it's a big drone.
Hmm.
But the new fighter jets are like, they look like this just giant triangle that darts through the sky and can do these crazy maneuvers.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure the U.S. government is right behind it. Um, do you have a podcast too?
Yeah, it's called Get After It.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
And how long have you been doing the podcast?
We started it in December. I say we, it was me. It's me, my brother, and my good friend Jeremy out here in St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly like the only one that does the stuff. Like we did a few in the beginning. Jeremy helps like do the editing and stuff, but right now it's just virtual. I really like the in-person stuff. It's just
Mm-hmm.
to travel everywhere with a wife and three kids. It's a little difficult. So I'm just doing the virtual stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to build my studio out right now, which is just, you can kind of see in the background. I got my soundproofing boards that I'm trying to size up for the wall, and I bought a big desk to be able to have people here
Hmm.
in my office. So that's the next step, to hopefully get to 2 and 3 episodes a week.
Hmm.
Blend of virtual and in person.
Yeah, yeah. I think the in-person stuff is. I mean, the virtual stuff's great. Like if you can crank out as many as you want over
Hmm.
what's this Squadcast or Riverside. Yeah,
Yeah, Squadcast. Yeah,
technology's great. But the in-person stuff is like really, if you can do that, that's the move. I feel like if you have the time and the resources and stuff.
yeah, exactly. And like you said, the team. I
Hmm.
think eventually I'm gonna have to get a full time editor, and someone that can not only edit the videos but chop up the video, or for my social media content, all of that stuff. So,
Hmm.
um, you keep adding to your plate, and then you end up having to hire more people to to do the work you want to do.
Yeah,
So, how many episodes have you guys released?
I think like 25 is where we're at,
Oh,
somewhere around
25
there.
since of December. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm cranking them out. I'm doing like one or two a week.
Nice. Good for
Hmm.
you. And some of them are interview style, and then some of them are just you solo, or what's the format?
I've done a couple like just solo ones, like kind of like my story and like 6 tips, blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
most of them are like interview based. Like I'll do an intro and then I'll have like 6, 7, 8 like good questions that I prepared, and then we'll just kind of they last about 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Nice.
Hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, it's mostly geared towards like business owners, investors, and like just business investing, specifically like real estate, and then like diet, nutrition, stuff like that.
Uh huh. Oh, you're a fitness guy too, huh?
Hmm. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. My family out here is doing Whole 30 right now, the Whole 30 diet.
Uh-huh.
So that was a little difficult for me the first week because I was doing the nicotine pouches. I haven't done them for a week since we
Mm-hmm.
started this diet. No
Mm-hmm.
alcohol either. But yeah, the
Are you a little
nicotine.
cranky?
I'm better now, but the nicotine and the sweets was the hardest. Alcohol, that's easy, but yeah.
You got that sweet tooth, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I everything I've heard and read about the Whole 30 is people feel like way better
Mm-hmm.
after doing it.
Yeah. So I'm like almost 10 days in, 9 days, I think. So 20 something more, and we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I'll go back to nicotine. I mean, if you can go 30 days without it, you might as well just quit forever. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny, where can everybody find you?
My personal Instagram is at Parking Mogul, and then our business one is Valet Parking Pros, and our podcast is Get After It, and it's on Spotify and Apple. Yeah, I'm happy to chat with anyone, give advice or whatever.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. Really interesting conversation, and I'll be sure to put all that stuff in the show notes.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Bo. Chat
Thanks,
later.
buddy. Bye bye.
Take care.